Hello guys, I'm here again in my chair, bringing you all another humble video, my thoughts as a middle-aged guy, which I occasionally do. By the way, please let me know if you would like me to do a thumbnail with these. I don't know if it breaks up the authenticity, because these particular videos I want to be a little bit more real and connect on a one-on-one personal level. I don't know if I should thumbnail them or not. Let me know. It's not a matter of laziness, it's just I'm not sure what direction to go with the presentation of these. So I would love your feedback in the chat. But today's video is about, am I a success or a failure? And it depends who you ask, I suppose. Things are all about perspective, and human beings have also got multiple layers, which we're going to discuss in this video today. And, you know, I had some interesting chats in the earlier live stream today. And so that's why I got thinking about this particular topic. On the surface, for myself personally, there's a lot of things that are going very, very well. Let's address everything very quickly. I have a beautiful woman. She's great. She supports me in my pursuit of this content creation living that I've been chasing as an overgrown man-child, playing games and doing other sorts of fun videos for people every day. I couldn't ask for more than that. She's amazing. Obviously, I think another big thing is the fact that I could do this from everywhere. This is a level of freedom, even though I'm not wealthy, which we're going to touch on a little bit later, that I do understand that most people couldn't even begin to ask for, and in that way I've been blessed so much. When it comes to friends and family, I love my friends and family, and in their heart of hearts, I think they think the same way about me too. It's always been a kind of complicated situation there, I think, but when the dust settles, I think I have that as well. You know, we were talking on the stream today a little bit earlier about home ownership, and I think unintentionally I was a little bit arrogant, because I was thinking, well, I don't need to own a home because, you know, I just like to have my freedoms and things like that, which is my own personal truth. I don't have to apologize for that. But I also think my views were a little bit dismissive and arrogant, as I said, because there's a lot of people my age who have families, or even single, that, you know, want to have a sense of purpose and something to aim towards, and security. Security is obviously very important to people, right? And so to be able to make such a massive achievement like owning a house and getting on board the home ownership, I guess, bandwagon, is a big thing for a lot of people, and very important step in someone's adult life. And I don't think that's a wrong decision if that's what you want. Personally, myself, I'm not really a big fan of being locked into something for 30 years, but that's probably due to my own irresponsibilities as well, which we could talk about a little bit later in the video. I'm certainly the last person to be giving out financial advice. I could certainly give out advice on how to build a brand and have some freedoms, but how to be fruitful in your financial life, I'm probably the last person that should be talking about that. So I think talking negatively about home ownership, I think earlier, was a little bit insensitive and also dismissive, maybe even arrogant. So my bad for that. But it just got me thinking further. It really hung with me, and it really bothered me, because I'm someone that takes accountability and full reflection of myself. And so I was thinking about it, and I have all this cool stuff. My girl, my brand, and family and friends. But I don't really own anything. I don't have any stuff. I don't really have anything tangible. You know, I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm a minimalist. I mean, maybe I am, because I don't really have a lot. I mean, even the things that I did have that had some value, like my game collection and stuff, I'm starting to flip that and sell it now to help fund my life, pay the bills, help continue doing what I'm doing. So even there, I don't really have that anymore. I don't drive a car anymore. I sold it a couple years ago. It wasn't a very good car anyway, but being that at the moment I live in the city and that I'm coming back and forth between countries a lot to see my girl, it just didn't seem practical with the insurance, the registration, and other expenses, petrol of course being a big one these days. That's not a wrong decision either, but sometimes having a nice car for other people is an important goal and a status symbol as well. So As I said, human beings have layers and not one human being wants the same thing. So I'm not necessarily wrong, but other people are not necessarily wrong either, right? Does that make sense? Maybe I'm looking at this too deeply, but again, as a middle-aged guy, it makes me think a lot more about life, you know what I mean? I want to develop some wisdom. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot. Right now, I'm like living month to month. But that situation's changed very quickly. Like I've been very fruitful in many different areas, and then I've eaten meager grain. This has always been its way it's been for me over the course of my life. I think this is going to be a completely different story this time next year as well, because I'll be changing my living situation. Most of my money goes into rent, and it's pretty horrible in Australia. But also I probably could have, it's a complicated one. I don't want to really make that much of the topic today. So I really think that what's interesting is some people would look at what I do as being a big success, having a brand, having a nice girl and everything. But then some people would be right to see on the surface, I don't have anything tangible. I've made some poor financial choices. And yeah, this is kind of reckless. You know, I'm a little bit more risk adverse compared to other people. So, you know, when it comes to like, you know, I guess you could say working for myself or doing like a trade or something or whatever, I'm just like, let it ride, you know what I mean? You know, high risk, high reward kind of guy. That's just how I've always been. Might need to maybe perhaps change the way I think a little bit as well. Now Moe's in the picture, but that's just how I've always rolled. I don't really know what the point of this video is. I just guess that, you know, if you look at me as being someone who succeeded, thank you very much. And if you look at me as being someone that hasn't, well, that's a bummer. But I suppose I need to find that peace within myself to, and also have that awareness to be like, hey, am I doing enough? Am I living up to my potential? Or do I need to do more? I know when it comes to the brand that I working as hard as I possibly can, and I believe in that. I believe in what we do for the community. I also bank on myself. I believe if I keep pushing and working hard enough and weathering the storm, one coin only could be something really special. We're always evolving, we're always adapting, so I'm not getting complacent. But I've also made very poor personal decisions in my life, which I take complete ownership of. And again, like I said, guilt and shame is a big part of my DNA, unfortunately. Usually I could take a step back and separate myself from that logically, but lately I have not. One thing I do know, however, is even in my darkest days when I can't see this myself, no matter where you are in your position in the world and while you're still living and breathing, as long as you're not basically deathbed bound, it's still not too late to make some kind of positive improvements, change, or even pivot into something new, right? So that's essentially my thoughts for the day. Let me know what you think. I guess the most important thing is to practice gratitude. I mean, as human beings, it's always normal to want more, but I'm so incredibly grateful for what I have. But again, human beings have layers, and not just myself, the community as well. And I think it's just important for me as well to be less pig-headed and to see things from multiple perspectives. That's how I'll gain wisdom, right? Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.